That's right. We're back where I think the good Lord intended us to be, which is an 11 a.m. slot on a Tuesday. Great to be back. We had the Monday night flight last night, kind of an unusual detour in the particle freeways surrounding the PMP community. But we're back. We're back at our 11 a.m. slot. We're going to be back at our normal night flight tomorrow night. So welcome back, y'all. Great to see everybody. What up, Winks? Good to see you, man. Marky Graves, NorCal Refrigeration, Dami Peralta. You got your Rags as your John Josephs, your Joe Schmoes, dude. On and on it goes. Your Noemis. And Creative Tony with your, I don't know, what are we talking? Like some kind of fleece poncho pullover? You go ahead and explain your appearance today. I'll leave the floor to you.
Well, happy Roby Tuesday, Paulie, first of all. And second of all, this is my new summer robe, dude. It was a Father's Day present from the wife and kids, where it's like a terry cloth, and it goes down to like my mid shins. So I can wear it. I can wear it to the beach. That's basically a shout out my friend Pierce, who lives in Alameda. When he was at the Flamingo, I was with their family. We were with their family at the Flamingo, and he was wearing one of these. I'm like, where did you get that? And he's like, I don't know, online somewhere. So it's
so
like a terry cloth.
You can wear it to the beach. Is that what you said?
Yes, because it goes down to like.
Stand by. Hold on. We interrupt this broadcast. Let me make this official. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right. Let me affect the right voice for this. This is going to be an important announcement. I have an important announcement to make on behalf of the PMP community. The show hosts themselves. 1, Paulie Mac. 2, Creative Tony. Creative Tony, the people have spoken. I can feel the urgency coming off the comment line. We demand, this is not a request, we demand this poncho be worn to the Metallica gigs this weekend at Levi's Stadium. We'll take your reactions now, Tony. Questions from the media as well. Go ahead.
Well, it goes down to like my mid shins, dude, or a little down past my knees. So we're going.
That doesn't concern me. That doesn't. The question on the floor is: are you going to be wearing this at the Metallica gigs this weekend? 1 or 2? It's up to you.
I can definitely rock it. I'll bring it on Sunday for sure. It's nice and warm, but it's summery and it's airy and it's got a lot of flow to it. So yes, it was a gift from the kids and Megan on Father's Day, and the inspiration was my friend Pierce, who had one of these. And like, where did you get that thing? I would live in that thing. So when you see it Sunday, there might be one on your doorstep. Come July for your birthday, Paulie.
Yeah, I'll wear one of those in a heartbeat. I got to tell you, here's the thing, though. Now, you risk knowing the Metallica, audience the way I do. I've been to my fair share of Metallica gigs over the year. I'd say the chances of that thing getting ripped right off your body are in percentages in the high 90s. Like, say they kick up a fuss during like a Damage Incorporated, a Whiplash. Next thing you know, you're getting spun around like a top, and that thing's just getting torn right off your person. Tony, your reactions and thoughts just in terms of protecting the garment in a very physical and sometimes rowdy Metallica crowd. Go ahead.
I'll protect it to an extent, but knowing that the garment is replaceable and it's not a one-off, it doesn't have like anything significant on the front or back. There's no date, there's no event, and it can be replaced. But I will say, I've always wanted to be that guy that gets passed around the top of a mosh pit, but I've never.
Size. You're the perfect size for that because you're not too big, you're not too lanky and long. I'd be no good crowd surfing. My body's too long. My arms are 10 feet long. My legs are 100 feet long. Like, it would take like 30 people just to hold me up. But you're kind of compact. We could just easily pass you around, dude. Easily.
Dude, another perk of being short, just that low center of gravity, the easily passed around the top of a mosh pit. Sure, dude, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I want to see Creative Tony getting passed around. That would be killer. And I guarantee there will be a pit. Now, Tony, we'll talk more about the Metallica. We had our final Metallica ticket giveaway last night. Thanks to everybody for participating. We do have our winner. This person is firmly entrenched in the VIP community. We're going to reveal the name in just a minute. But before anybody goes anywhere, Tony, we got some business we got to handle. Yes. Shout out to the actor who portrays Bookman, who we showed during the bookmarks thing. Again, as I said, I quote him from the Boogie Nights film when he's sitting across the desk from Burt Reynolds, and he's trying to convince Burt Reynolds, like, you got to stop shooting porno film on actual film. We got to go to digital. It's about VHS now or whatever. They're making a transition in the industry. And then he looks right at Burt Reynolds and he goes, because I want to make $1.01 in this business. So, Tony, let's make $1.01 in our business. Yeah, go ahead.
And also, if we're going to talk Bookman, I feel like it's our due diligence to refer to him as by his birth name of Philip Baker Hall.
Thank you.
Baker Hall, PBH, Paulie, if we want to call him in the PMP community. PBH is the gentleman who played the role of Bookman and the role that you're speaking of as well.
Thank you so much. Okay. Playing the role of the official dentist of the Polymac particle community would be my good friend, Dr. Matt Young. Frankly, he's our newest sponsor. Welcome aboard, Dr. Young. We love this guy. He's a friend of mine for over a decade. We did a little bit of research on this, and Dr. Matt Young and I came together, and I believe he and I have been associated for, forget about 10 years. I think we're brushing up on 15 years. That's how long he's been taking care of my dental needs. He's right down there in Union Square and has been. He's been in the business 25 years. Or Tony, I should say, he's been in the business for 25 years. The business, 25 years. He's in the teeth cleaning business and the dental care business. And that's what he offers. He offers comprehensive dental care across the board. What do you need? You want your teeth whitened? Done. What do you want? Your teeth straightened? Done. You need braces as an adult, which is a very common thing now? Done. He'll give you those see-through ones you don't even know that you're wearing them. Done. You got a bad toothache, you got to get it pulled and get an implant put in there? Done. In fact, that's one of his specialties: implants, veneers, filling, stuff like that. He excels in those areas. In fact, Dr. Matt Young is also the president of the Academy of Implant Dentistry. By the way, I've been singing the praises of Dr. Matt Young. You don't have to hear it from me, Tony. Go to Google, go to Yelp, and read the thousands, literally thousands of positive reviews. And I'm not blowing smoke. He's a great guy. He's a super cool guy. I know he's really excited about the Devers move, the acquisition, which we're going to talk about. Great link today. In fact, one of our other sponsors, Carlos Low Steve, he's in the house. He's going to jump on with us at 11:30. So we'll do his spot live when he joins us today. But in the meantime, just your general dentist needs, your implant concerns. Again, Union Square is where you want to be at Dr. Matt Young's office. info@youngdentalsf.com. Shoot him an email and let him know where you are in the process. If you haven't had a checkup in a long time, just go get one. Let him get you on the road to recovery, Tony. He's a great dude. He will put you at ease. If he can relax me, he can relax you, Big T.
Heck yeah, dude. And he can relax us on Saturdays as well, which I find is ultra relaxing, that I'm not stressed out to get to a dentist appointment on a weekday when I can go at my own leisure on my own schedule and not try to squeeze it in on a weekday. I love that they're open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8 hours of service on Saturdays. So check out Dr. Young. And also, again, he makes the experience something that you don't loathe. Like nobody says, "Oh, I'm so pumped to go to the dentist today." But like my doctor, Dr. Adam Paley, who I love to go see because he's a great dude. Same thing with Dr. Young, Dr. Matt Young, is that he's a great dude. And he'd love to talk Devers. He'd love to talk Metallica at Levi's. He'd love to talk Stones still touring, all that stuff, and make your experience enjoyable. So, just give him a call, 415-392-8611, 415-392-8611, or email info@youngdentalsf.com. Paulie, take it, buddy.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to say shout out to Antonio, dude. Thanks for the kind words. I had a great time at Rod Brooks yesterday. I'm happy to go on with Rod anytime. In fact, we'll get him back to our show soon enough. And Antonio, I'm not sure if you're a new face on the board here, but welcome aboard, dude. Great to see you. Tony, a couple other things real quick. It just occurred to me as you were talking about Dr. Matt Young's Saturday office hours. If you go to Metallica Friday night, and you're in the pit, they're tearing that freaking terry cloth robe right off your body. Maybe you catch a stray elbow to the mouth. Now you got a loose tooth. You could actually go to Dr. Matt Young Saturday, get that thing repaired, and then be back to the Sunday show, spick and span, good as new. I'm just saying, if you sustain a dental injury at Metallica Friday, get it fixed Saturday. We'll see you at the second gig on Sunday. That goes for you too, John Joseph. I know you're going to be swinging elbows and knees. I look forward to seeing you in action, my man. Tony, quick question about the location of the gig. We're going down to Levi's Stadium. The last concert you saw at Levi's Stadium, go.
Stone, I believe it was the Stones. It was the Stones, and then Fare Thee Well were the last two concerts I've seen. I've seen 3 concerts there, only 3. Stone.
I saw U2 with you down there too.
Yeah, fairly well, and U2 doing the Joshua Tree, which was a fantastic. The whole night was just a flow. It was such a fantastic night. I'm not a big fan of big stadium shows, but I will say Levi's is better for a concert than it is for a football game, in my humble opinion. Because the shows I've seen have been good. The sound was good. Accessibility to everything around me was good. Watching Brian Murphy flee the seats during Dark Star, I was happy that he had a safe place to go.
Because bro, I tell you what, forget about Dark Star. Dark Star is like a walk in the park, dude. You know what they dropped on us that night, the first Fare Thee Well night? I don't think anybody even knew what the hell was going on, but they dropped one of the most psychedelic, like unexplainable. I don't know where this came from or what made them do this, bro. They dropped What's Become of Baby. Okay. Yeah. What's Become of Blanking Baby, where Phil's talking through like the voice tube. He's like, rah, rah, rah. It was mayhem. I think that's when Murph really scurried the scene, when What's Become a Baby hit the scene. That's not for anybody. That's not for everybody, Tony. What's Become a Baby. You know what I mean?
And by the way, we love Brian Murphy, but scurried the scene is the perfect way to put it, dude. Because he as soon as Dark Star started, he looked at me and he looked at Paul and he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get a beer and go use the bathroom."
Hey man, listen, it's not for everybody. You know what they used to say back in the old days is like there would be dudes walking around, like if you would flee the scene during an intense jam, somebody would reach out and put a sticker on your chest. You know what it would say? Cosmic Wimp Out. Swear to God, Cosmic Wimp Out. You ever hear about that? You know what the Cosmic Wimp Out? Yeah, yeah, Cosmic Wimp Out. That means you can't take it, and you get a little sticker put on you to identify yourself.
Hey, speaking of Cosmic Wimp Outs, Carlisle's getting a lot of flack for yanking the Pacers players with 2 minutes left last night. And by the way, I didn't even realize this when we were broadcasting last night because I wasn't paying attention to the refs in the game last night, but the extender was on the floor last night for Game 5. There's no chance he'll do Game 6, but maybe he's there for Game 7 just to wrap it up in a nice bow. But I don't know. I feel like Carlisle is looking ahead to Game 6. There was also like static about, should they have benched Halliburton earlier when he wasn't producing and he might have been banged up. I don't know. In the moment, you want to try and you're in the ball game, dude. The Pacers brought it down to 4. They got the lead down to 4, the deficit down to 4, and so I don't know. I feel like Carlisle's a really good coach, and I got no beef with him. And I will say, I feel like the Pacers are going to come out strong in Game 6, man. I think this thing's definitely going 7. I don't know about you, Paulie. How do you feel?
I actually agree with you. I think that Indiana answers the bell tomorrow. But is Game 6 tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow, right?
No,
Game 6?
Thursday.
I hate these breaks they take, but just play the damn series.
Dude,
anyway,
they go Thursday and then they go Sunday, Game 7, dude. It's like,
they're milking it. They're milking it for all it's worth, and I'll be there regardless of what the schedule is. But I wish there was a game tomorrow. But in any case, no, I agree. I think Indiana will answer the bell and probably win Game 6, which is great, man. There's nothing better than a Game 7 in any playoff series in any sport. I'll take a Game 7, baseball, basketball, hockey. And speaking of hockey, we got Game 6 tonight in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers, God for effing bid, can actually win the cup tonight and skate it around, which really depresses me. I hope that does not happen. In fact, the Oilers are changing goaltenders. To me, that's always kind of a panicky move in late in a series like this, switching goalies. But that's what they're doing. They're going back to your guy Skinner, Pib Ford. I don't know if you're with us today, but me and you, Brody, I'm still rolling with the Edmonton Oilers. Let's make this happen. But anyway, if you want to watch some great competitive Stanley Cup hockey, tonight's a chance to do that. Game 6, and the Oilers do have that new goalie between the pipes. I don't know. That's always kind of a herky-jerky reaction to me, Tony. Switching, like riding the goalie that's gotten you this far, and then when things start going south in a big series like the finals, to pull them and then put another guy in there. I don't know. I always get kind of a weird vibe with that.
I don't like it either, man. I'm not the biggest hockey aficionado, but I kind of go like by where you go, and I don't know. I follow your lead on that, and I feel like the goalie is a very important role in hockey, and there's a flow and there's a vibe, and I don't know, streaks have to come to an end at some point. So I don't know. I feel like you'd leave the goalie in and give him a shot, and it's the finals and they've earned the right to be there. That's just my opinion.
I also feel like it sends kind of a panicky message to the rest of the team. Like, wait a minute, this dude, we rode this guy all the way this far. And now we're making a switch. In any case, dive into that tonight. Now, Tony, we are setting the stage too for a big, debut of Rafael Devers tonight. That's going to be awesome. You got Robbie Ray on the hill. The Giants are back home. Cleveland's coming in. Should be great. Tony, you're very eager to get a point out. What do you need?
Well, hold on.
Nothing easy. Nothing easy.
That is for Edmonton and for Indiana, basically in the finals here for the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals. But I want to there's something I feel like that there's like this overall theme for the NBA Finals. Like, I'm not watching because it's not a big market. The two teams aren't from big markets and there's no star players. Dude, I beg to differ. If you've been watching these finals, man, there has been excellent basketball played, and there are the stars of, like, well, you can't say stars of tomorrow because they're kicking ass now, but they're basically taking the throne from the older players, man. A guy like Shea, a guy like Halliburton, a guy like Jalen Williams, man, Chet Holmgren too. Like, man, Nemhard. Like, I'm thinking, dude, I'm actually really enjoying these finals, and I feel like the people that aren't watching are missing out on good hoop and getting a good glimpse of what's to come for the NBA. Yes, I think it sucks that they draw these games out so long and it takes for freaking ever to end a series. But I will say the talent on the floor, man, has been really, really good. And it's like, damn. I mean, that's why Warriors just give me one more run. And by the way, the Steven Adams signing over the weekend bummed me out too, because I thought that we would get a run at him in the blue and gold. But anyways, my point being, Paulie, is you talked about this a little while back on the show about how there's older players and who's going to be, who are they passing the torch to? And I feel like this series is a good, I don't know, sign of indication of what's to come in the NBA.
It's funny. I had a long talk with Rod Brooks about this yesterday on his show, whether or not this is kind of like an unofficial, just changing of the guard moment in the NBA. But, we both kind of agreed that it's tough to imagine that whether it's Giannis, whether it's LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, who are some of the other, Luka Doncic, all these guys, the Joker. It's hard to believe that none of those guys will be back on this big stage again. So I don't think this is like the end of that generation, but I do think this is kind of like a sign of what's coming. This is like what's ahead in the NBA. And the NBA, Tony, maybe more, I'm going to say, when you really think about it, it might be the most star-driven league in all the major sports. I mean, would you agree or disagree with that? Like, I don't know that I can think of another league that's as star-powered and star-fueled and star-driven as the NBA. Like, it's all about the stars. Look at your guy right there. Yeah.
I just had to throw that out there because I'm like, you know what? If there's one person I'd love to no longer carry the torch, it would be him. That's all. I mean, I'd rather much have an SGA or one of these younger guys, even Halliburton. Halliburton's actually like kind of toned it down a little bit, I think. But I don't know.
After we put all those zeros on the board last night, there ain't much to be demonstrative about when you're chucking zeros up across the board. I don't want to hear his calf hurts, his ankle hurts. Everybody's hurting right now, Holmes. You know what you got to do? You go back there and you take a shot if that's what you need to do. I mean, that's what these guys do to stay on the floor. You got to do what you got to do. And by the way, I was starting to think, because I see the Matt Young logo over LeBron's beard there in the lower right. I'm starting to think that would be like a really good ad. Like the left is before Dr. Matt Young, and then the right is during Dr. Matt Young. Like, I'm so relaxed, I can actually take a peek at what he's doing. That's me in Dr. Matt Young's chair right there, taking a look. How we doing, Dr. Young? We cool? All right, good.
Dude, by the way, on Halliburton's game last night, he was 0 for 10 from the floor, and his 4 points from 4 free throws. I mean, so he had a tough game, but can we give it up for the freaking bench play of a TJ McConnell, dude? That guy.
Yep, he's a force, man. He's been playing his balls off, and like he goes maximum effort every shift he has, every time he gets a handful of minutes on the court, and he's been a huge part of this whole series for the Indiana Pacers. I got to give it up. He's always been kind of a little pesky pain in the ass guy. I've never been a big McConnell fan, but you have to appreciate the game that he brings. He brings so much energy. He brings so much quickness, and he runs that offense really well. Like, he's a perfect fit for Indiana. I agree. He's been a really solid player for them in this finals.
18 off the bench for McConnell, and also Nemhard and Halliburton combined for 11 points. That's not going to happen in Game 6. So I expected a better outcome in Game 6 from Indiana, and I just want to see a 7-game series. And I think most basketball fans that are into this series want to see that. So I just hope that it goes 7 games. But OKC smells blood in the water, dude. So I don't know. And that kid, Jalen Williams, man, I'll never forget seeing him play for Santa Clara against USF. And I'm like, who is this kid? And he had dreads at the time, and they were like flopping in his face. And I'm like, nobody knew who this guy was. And he was just dominant. And I remember sitting there watching the game with my Uncle Paul and my dad being like, whoa. And here he is now. I think he was the 12th overall pick or something. Dude just took over the game last night. He dropped 40. Dropped 40 last night. So
you could tell early he came out of the gates blazing last night. In fact, I would say he was the MVP of last night's game. It was Jalen Williams. He basically he steered that whole OKC offense, man. Hey, Tony,
Let
me clear my throat.
I just want to give love to the WCC for the representation in the finals, dude, with Chet Holmgren, Nemhard, and Jalen Williams, all WCC products. So I just want to give some love to WCC hoops, man. That's all I wanted to do. Thank you, P.
No, you're more than welcome to do that anytime you want. I happen to be a big WCC head myself. I'm like very loyal to USF. However, I do love Santa Clara. And by the way, I'll root for any of the WCC teams. Like when March Madness starts, any of those guys that get over the wall, I'm always rooting for them in the big dance. Now, Tony, I was going to say, we got Low Steve coming up in about T-minus 10 minutes. We kind of left our NBA, all this final stuff. We left our NBA finals bummer brackets just kind of hanging in limbo. Why don't we dive back into that? Because, dude, the series could end, and I don't want to have like unfinished brackets just looming out there in space. Do we have time to do that? Can we make a few voting decisions real quick?
We do, but before we do that, Paulie, all I want to say is I saw the comments on the chat as the show began that they all woke up today singing "Taste the Biscuit," taste the of that honey sauce. Right. They were singing the song. I sent Rags last night. I was up late doing some stuff for the show, and I sent Rags the video of the actual song, and he said he went down a rabbit hole. And he found he said, he goes, dude, you've sent me, he's like, you've created a monster out here. I spent my entire morning at work stalking these people. Turns out Taste the Biscuit was written by Vincent Gargiulo in 2012. Vincent Gargiulo in 2012. I believe he's the gentleman on keys for Taste the Biscuit.
Dude, so shout out Gargiulo on keys. Oh, Gargiulo. And by the way, when he's done ripping keys, he probably goes home and makes a great pasta sauce. You know what I mean? With the basil, he's probably cooking in the kitchen. And he's got his damsel in distress over there on lead vocals. And my big question is, once you sent Rags the video, Rags, if I may, did you lock yourself in the bathroom with the laptop? I'm just asking. It's a fair question. Based on your reaction last night, you said you were getting stirred up a little bit. All right, Tony, follow through. You finish your thing, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that was just wanted to give an update on Taste the Biscuit because I was very excited to bring that to the show last night because I've seen that so many times and it stops me in my tracks. It bought Paulie, as the kids say, it stopped the scroll. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped my scroll, dove into Taste the Biscuit.
Stop the scroll. Is that what it's come to? You know what I mean? I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Oh, it's fire. It's fire. Oh, is it? Is it fire? Okay, I'm glad it's fire. By
the way, everybody, somebody told Paulie and I, well, yeah, the whole trick to like doing stuff on social media is you got to learn how to stop the scroll. And I was like, okay, sure.
I think your biggest concern right now is going to be how do you stop the guns? Because here they come. The guns are right in your face. You stop the scroll. I'm going to worry about you stopping the guns. All right, and I don't mean actual firearms. I'm talking about my middle fingers. If you're not watching the show, yeah, stop the guns. Yeah, hashtag stop the guns. All right, dude.
Sorry, you got me with that one, dude. You got me.
Yeah, no, good. That's the idea. Give me the brackets, Tony. I want to make some decisions here. Yeah.
Well, here, I'll just, while I'm loading up the bracket, I'll put this on the screen for just 1 second. And if you can enjoy that for a second, look at that. Look at Lebowski. Come on. And look at dude, the bummer bracket. So if I can get to, let me share the screen, P, because yes, we do have some of these to get to. And I'm going to zoom in once you
got a drop for me, by the way? You got Beasties over there giving me a drop?
I don't. I just have.
Let me clear my throat.
But you know what?
That is so freaking loud in my headphones.
Good.
It'll do for now, but more Beastie Boys, the better. In fact, I have a request.
Go.
While you have some free time on your hand, because I know that's all you do is you just got an abundance of free time on your hands. I'm going to need you to cut. Dude, this is one of my favorites. I think it's on Paul's Boutique. No, or maybe it's on Check Your Head when it's like, yo, I forget what song it is. It's the intro where there's like a conversation. Yo, F you, Chico, man. Like, give me some F you, Chico.
It's shut the bleep up, Chico, man.
Remember even better. Yo, shut the mic up, Chico, man. Can I get that one for tomorrow, Tony? Chico, if possible.
And if we're going Beastie Boys samples, you could go, shit, if it's going to be that kind of party, I'm going to stick my D in the mashed potatoes.
Okay, good discipline. Good. I wondered if you're going to deliver all the way through. Hey, Marky Graves, you're a freaking super. That means you go right to the board. Let's see what's on his mind today, Tony. Marky Graves, my guy Gravy. If Rags was an album, he would be Sticky Fingers. Yes, indeed he would. Yes, indeed he would. And if you give me some time, I'll come up with some other contributions too. Or Lick It Up by Kiss might be a good one for Rags. Lick It Up, Sticky Fingers, anything demonstrative and suggestive is the way Rags is going to roll. Marky, I feel you, brother, and thank you as always. As always,
I would say my suggestion for if Rags was an album would be Ray Charles doing the mess around. He's doing the mess around.
Okay.
So, Marky Graves, I love that. I wrote that down as a possible Tony's top 3 topic. If Paulie was a song, if Paulie was an album, what would you call it? So, something to ponder down the road. So, Paulie, going into the bracket, dude, let's go. So this is Oklahoma. This is the Oklahoma side of the bracket. This is OKC. This is inventions versus famous people. So here we go. We are now down to Woody Guthrie versus Bill Hader and Jim Thorpe versus Chuck Norris. Okay. So Woody Guthrie versus Bill Hader. Go. I know who I'm picking, but go. I think I know who you're picking too.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna, and I like Bill Hader quite a bit. And by the way, let me just clarify something. Was it you that told me that? Thank you. I like that. That's nice and big. Did you tell me that Bill Hader is romantically involved with Olivia Munn? Is that correct?
No, I didn't tell you that, but that's quite a combo. That's
pretty sure it is, and that just goes to show you the comedians, bro. The comedians can. What? Dude,
by the way, sorry, hold on. I got to give an update. Aaron Rodgers, I guess, got married in the offseason. Paulie, are you thrilled for him?
No, I'm not at all. I'm not. What's the over/under on that thing going south? You know what I mean? Who's going to be able to endure his BS? And by the way, what's the over/under on Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh? 1 season and done, half a season and done. I still can't believe they're employing his bark eating ass. But anyway, I do like Bill Hader quite a bit. I'm a fan, actually. I think he's a really funny guy. But without Woody Guthrie, there's no Bob Dylan. Without no Bob Dylan, there's no Bruce Springsteen. I got to have Dylan. I got to have the boss. So I have to vote for Woody Guthrie. As a music lover, I wouldn't have 2 of my favorite guys of all time if not for Woody Guthrie. So the lineage for me gets the vote. Woody.
Good. Woody Guthrie is advancing. So there we go. And then Jim Thorpe versus Chuck Norris. Yeah. Well, I think you're right, because I was going to say the same thing. I really like Bill Hader, but you can't. He's not going to beat Woody Guthrie in this matchup. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. And an update, I guess. Aaron Kask is saying that Bill Hader is with Ali Wong, and also Aaron Rodgers.
That's it. Yeah, my bad. Right. My bad. Mm-hmm.
The press conference with Aaron Rodgers, he had a wedding ring on his finger, and then one of the reporters asked him, like, "Was that a wedding ring, or what's that on your finger?" And he goes, "Oh, it's a wedding ring. It's a wedding ring. It's a good." Yeah, you would have loved it, Paulie, if you would have seen this press conference.
Anyways, when they asked him if he's been vaccinated after the freaking pandemic, hey, have you been vaccinated? I've been immunized. You know what, dude? Go shove your head up your A. How about that? Why don't you go immunize your head up your A? Go ahead, Tony. Sorry for the outburst. Yeah.
There you go. There's a little couple of Rodgers groans for you. Now, Jim Thorpe or Chuck Norris. I know where I'm going. I'm going to go right out of the gates and tell you where I'm going. I'm going Chuck Norris. The guy's 85. The guy is actor, Texas Walker Ranger, because the eyes of the Ranger are upon you. No disrespect to Jim Thorpe and the life and legacy of Jim Thorpe, but we got Chuck Norris going strong at 85 years old. He also did the Total Gym with Christine Brinkley. I'm Chuck Norris, the Chuck Norris calendar for my friend Mark Wiseman. He shares all the Chuck Norris isms like at least a couple times a week. I'm a Norris head. I like Norris. He also reminds me of what Trey Anastasio from Fish would look like if he worked out the way Chuck Norris is, because they're nice ginger. They're part of the Ginger family.
Well, I hate to say this. I'm going to have to agree here. I'm going to have to go Norris. I'm going to have to go shout out Good Guys Wear Black. You know what I'm saying? Good Guys Wear Black. Look into it if you haven't seen. I can remember seeing Chuck Norris movies once again as a kid in San Francisco. I remember seeing a Chuck Norris movie at the Alexandria on 18th and Geary. It might have been Good Guys Wear Black. What was the other really big one, you guys? Help me out with some Norris here. Give me a couple of his biggest films, and I'll tell you, as soon as I see it, I'll know it. It wasn't Good Guys Wear Black. There was, Tony, help me. What were his biggest films?
I always know him as Chuck, Texas Walker Ranger. Dude, he also like had a stint in Dodgeball. He also did President's Men. If you want to go, I'm looking up his filmography right now just to remind us. I mean, if you want to go back to, oh wow, dude, see the way.
One. Okay, they're coming in now. Yeah, Force of One. That's a good one. Missing in Action. These are all excellent. Anyway, Chuck Norris is going to have to advance with no disrespect to Jim Thorpe, the great American athlete and all that stuff. But Chuck Norris is, for all the reasons you mentioned. And I mean, he's selling gym equipment with Christy Brinkley. He's like 65. Count me in. I'm a fan. We got to advance his ass.
Dude, he also was on the show The Goldbergs as himself, by the way, Paulie, which that show did not get enough love. Check out The Goldbergs if you want to go back and watch a good show with Jeff. God, I forget the actor's name. The big dude, Jeff
Goldblum.
No, it's not Jeff Goldblum. That's your guy.
Why is he my guy?
Well, because he ruined one of your relationships, I thought.
Now, wait, whoa. Hold, slow your roll, dude. Hold on a second here. He didn't ruin anything.
I thought some girl you're dating cheated on you with him, right?
No, dude. Wait. Slow this ass down. All right, now we're gonna have to reset this whole thing over again because that's not what happened. What happened was missing in action. John Joseph, I should have known you'd come through.
Yes,
thank you. Missing in action. No, Tony. What happened was I asked the question, and it's a legitimate question. It's a very funny topic. I mean, I have to assume I'm not the only guy or girl who's ever been through this. Where you say, and the name you're looking for, thank you, Winks, is Jeff Garland. Tony, Jeff Garland.
Yeah, Garland.
With the wavy hair. The question was, have you ever been involved with somebody, dated somebody seriously or casually, and then you find out later on down the road that person is now dating somebody famous? And who would that person be? So it wasn't like this guy like ruined anything, but no, I whatever. I was dating somebody in Boston when I was in college. And this person and I kind of lost touch. And then I found out 5-6 years later after we graduated, I'm like, oh, how's so-and-so doing? And he was like, oh, she's doing good. She's in LA. She's dating Jeff Goldblum. I'm like, wait, what? She's doing what? And she was like a little theater actress and all this stuff. So God only knows the backstory there. But anyway, yeah, if you've ever been at the hands of like a breakup and then you find out your other is with somebody famous, post a name on the board. It's always a great story to kick around. All right, Tony.
Yeah, here we go. Moving on. So Chuck Norris and Woody Guthrie will face off in the next round. So, which we can do tomorrow. And then also now we're going up to inventions from Oklahoma. The shopping cart versus the steel electric guitar. The shopping cart versus the steel electric guitar. Paulie, I'm going to go here quickly and just going to say my belief in the shopping cart. I'm a huge fan of the shopping cart, and it's an invention from Oklahoma. Also, the multiple uses of a shopping cart. You can throw a keg in a shopping cart and do beta breakers through the city. The 7-mile stretch of from downtown all the way to Ocean Beach. You can do that on in a shopping cart. You can I was taken home in a shopping cart one night when I was visiting my friends in Santa Clara in college because I wasn't in the condition to be walking. And the shopping cart has aided me more in life than the steel electric guitar. But that's what I would choose, Paulie.
That's all you need to say. And that's all you needed to say. The real people on the board like John Joseph, Noemi, we all know what's up. Can your shopping cart play blues licks on a steel guitar? I don't think so. That Joe Perry, I've never seen Joe Perry strap a shopping cart on and start ripping off blues licks during Draw the Line. I have seen him do that though with a steel guitar. I'm going steel guitar 100 times out of 100, and based on the response, wait a minute, what? We're getting a lot of steel guitars. Tony, I'm just saying, somebody's saying Johnny Knoxville. I hope that's one of your famous people that got involved. That would be killer. That's a good one, but not as good as Goldblum, dude. Every time, just think about me and Goldblum in the same room. Yo, what up, Jeff? Anyway, I got to say, steel guitars across the board, Tony. Steel guitars across the board. Although Rags has been known to throw a shopping cart, that's a whole other story for another time. I don't want to go down that road right now because we got Low Steve waiting in the wings, by the way, T.
We do. Stand by. So we'll finish this side real quick. Then the next one is the Ditch Witch versus voicemail. Paulie, go.
Can you? Okay, well, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to need like an official definition of Ditch Witch to explain that to me. What does that do?
Ditch Witch is a construction machine used on for landscaping or for basically digging massive holes for building or digging foundation or pouring foundations. It's in general contractors are big fans of the Ditch Witch.
Okay.
And it's a big kind of like extractor. It's a big scoop. It's a big it's a big digger. basically. And then
yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like John Henry, the guy swinging the hammer and all that stuff. I feel like, listen, I did my fair share of landscaping with Rags, by the way. We didn't have no goddamn ditch witch. I can tell you that much. Rags was ripping stalks of poison ivy out with his bare hands. Yeah. And I was digging holes with shovels in the hot, humid Jersey sun. And I like to think it made me a better person. So blank the ditch witch, dude. It's about getting dirty. Get your hands in that soil. We don't need the modern day machinery. And voicemail, Tony, without voicemail, I wouldn't have some of the greatest moments of my life. I will never forget this as long as I live. I know this is kind of just a footnote to the whole thing, but when I first started working on the air with Tony in the late 90s, this is the first time this ever happened to me. I still had stars in my eyes, and like when like a famous 49er would like talk to me, I was like, holy cow, dude, Steve Young just said, what's up to me? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I remember I went home, Tony, one day after work, and it was when I was living on Baker Street up there near USF. I got home, I flipped on my voicemail, and it was a message from Guy McIntyre. Yeah. And it was the first time like I ever had anybody like vaguely noteworthy or famous or important to me leave me a voicemail. And I was like, holy yes, dude, Guy McIntyre's on my voicemail. Shout out number 62 with the donut roll on his neck. So I got to go voicemail for all the sentimental reasons, like the ditch witch ain't, you know what I mean? Like Guy McIntyre's not leaving messages on the ditch witch. That's all I'm saying.
And Paulie, I totally agree. A voicemail, we could not have done some of our best comedic bits back in the day without the use of voicemail, i.e. Lee Hammer's voicemail.
Oh, totally.
We took voicemails, angry voicemails from Lee Hammer, cut them up and played them on the show all the time. Second of all, I got to be honest, and this is me just coming clean. There are some times when I know I need to make a phone call to certain people, and when I get their voicemail, there's a sigh of relief that I can just leave a message. Yeah. So I'd like to thank the Oklahoma inventors that invented voicemail. Voicemail moves on. Paulie, we'll end the bracket right there, and we're going to bring on our boy Los D. Stand by. Here he comes to the stage. There he is, Los D.
Yeah. Ooh, dude, looking good in the silk garments today. The silk robe. You are looking fly. Carlos de la Fuente checking in live on PMP today. Not for the first time, not for the last time. You look incredibly relaxed today. Compliments on the blue silk. Is that from Japan? Did you get that in Japan?
Here we go. I got this from Father's Day about 4 years ago, and to be honest, I'm not sure if it was Chinese or Japanese related. I didn't get it in Japan on my last trip. It was a gift, and it's more my summer go-to. So it's Roby Tuesday. What's up, Paulie?
It is rough. Well, you know what happened is I got like in big trouble because this room that I have my studio in has become like an atomic disaster, like a Superfund site, like contaminated. So I had to do a big clean over the weekend, and I look over where I normally would keep my robe, and I realized I had to move it downstairs, so it's not within arm's reach. I'll be robed up next Tuesday, but you guys are repping, I'd say, pretty well without me. And look at Creative Tony's garment today, Los D. He's got this like pullover poncho thing down to his knees. You know what I mean?
I love it. The African one you had a few weeks back or a month back. What are those called? The Demikis?
Oh, the dashikis.
Dashikis.
Yeah. I'll bring the dashiki back anytime, but this is my terry cloth summer garment that I just got for Father's Day at Lowe's, so I thought I'd rock it on Roby Tuesday. And by the way, I've seen on the chat, I'm getting requests, so both of you stand by.
Give us the loose. 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 What tone would you like?
Yeah, man.
That is such a sick beat. Like I feel like I have to go buy an air conditioning unit from NorCal Refrigeration because of that.
Hey, by the way, Creative Tony, I wanted to do a little history lesson for the PMP community, show how far back Los D and I actually go. Do you have that picture handy that just became unearthed? So I want to show off this picture. This is the first time I met Los D. It's at least 10 years ago, maybe a little more than that, 12, 13. I'm not exactly sure of the timeline or the date, but I hadn't been going gray yet, so my hair is still brown, which tells me that's at least 10 years ago. And it's the first time Los D and I met. We were hanging out in Walnut Creek at one of my old sponsors, was a great barbecue spot called Sauced. And sadly, there we go. And that's Jen Violet, the KBR promotions director. There's Los D, and shout out Nima, dude, the sales guy Nima on the far right. But there we are, dude. Los D, this is the origin story of Carlos De La Fuente and Paulie Mack crossing paths for the very first time. That was a great day, man.
Yeah, nothing made up, no fabricated story. I had to give out the evidence and proof that, you know, I was on my way to a concert at the Concord Pavilion and knew that Paulie was going to be there. And he was the one radio personality that I knew I would vibe with, because
nice.
As you get older, like, you just want to gravitate to chill people and not drama people. Had enough drama in my life at a younger age. So
yeah,
it was a great day. We just talked San Francisco, we talked sports, and it was like we knew each other for decades.
Well, you know, we are definitely going to talk some Giants, because I want to talk some Devers with you and stuff like that. And I'll also let you speak about your own services as we get closer to the end of the piece. But I don't want to do like a whole commercial the whole time. So we'll get into that in a minute. But Losty, you know, I know that you are like that day. I remember we bonded on like growing up in San Francisco back in the 70s, Cornet, you know, movie theater, Star Wars, and Alexandria, all that cool stuff. But I also remember how passionate of a Giants and Niner fan that you are. And I love the approach, man. Carlos, you said this like about a month ago. I'm still laughing about this. You were just crushing somebody on Twitter about some Niner take, and you're like, listen, man, I come with tough love when it comes to the Niners. I come with a lot of tough love, and I come with a lot of tough love too. So tough love now, looking at the San Francisco Giants, bringing in Devers, how much does this change like your whole outlook on the second half of the season that's coming up, Los?
Oh, nothing but positivity.
Yeah.
That's all we've been asking for, you know, in the Farhan era, was to pull the trigger and get a bat in here, because the Giants traditionally have not been able to like really draft and you know, get people to come up in the system and hit. It's like, so you have to trade for it, you know? So getting a guy like Devers is just going to do wonders and balance out the lineup. Like, if he hits behind Adames is going to see some more fastballs to hit.
Yep.
And he's going to definitely be able to maybe turn his season around a little bit. So, no, I mean, my tough love is similar towards my teams that it is for my kids. When they deserve love, they get love, and when they deserve to get kicked in the ass, they're going to get kicked in the ass.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me how, like, if you can criticize a coach or criticize a front office constructively, that you're considered a hater. I don't like that word. It's just you disagree with things that they're doing because you are passionate about the team. So I've never understood that. The ones that don't say anything to me are not the true fans. The ones that are passionate, you know, are going to say some things. So yeah, I go in on the Niners, Giants, and Warriors at any given times. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but those are true passionate feelings and things that I feel that they should do better to help the team move forward.
Hey, dude, Los, I love the content you provide on social media, especially on Twitter. And dude, I'm with you, man. Like, I'm expected to do my job. When I was at KMBR for as long as I was, and now with Paulie, I'm expected to show up every day. So I expect Buster Posie, I expect management, I expect those guys to show up every day. And the goal for us and for Paulie and I is to make a good show. The goal for KMBR was to be a good creative director. The goal for Buster Posie should be to put wins in the win column. So if you're not doing that, changes need to be made. I love it, man, and I'm stoked about the Devers trade. And I assume he's going to bat third. But like you said, I would love to keep, because Adames is kind of like he's been bouncing back between the 2 spot and like the 5th and 6th and 7th spot. But he's struggling so bad that I feel like if you said, if you put him in the 2 hole and let him just rake fastballs, or not all the time, but he'll see more fastballs than he normally would. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Come on.
I was going to say the Farhan era had a lot of my favorite quote on your soundboard, which is when he was asked questions about anything related to baseball. I don't know.
Yeah. No, dude, you know what I mean? I look back on that theory now and scratch my head. Listen, we tried it. We tried the analytics. We tried to, bow down to the almighty computer and all their breakdowns. But at some point, you have to watch the game that's being played right in front of you on the field. And I think Buster Posie kind of identified that. Like, we got to actually go back a step and get this closer to the human touch. Tony, you're very eager in your poncho. Go ahead.
I am. Farhan, would you have the balls to have done the Devers trade?
Oh, no.
There you go.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, speaking of soundboard, guys, I have to say this if you don't mind. So when it comes to the soundboard, like, you can get any like one-liner from a film, from a quote. I mean, how does that work, Tony, on that end? Because I have a few suggestions that I'd like to do for the chat and for you guys.
Yeah,
you know me and my ideas. You know,
yeah,
some
man,
good and some are not. So what do you think about the following? Maybe, I don't know, you may even have them, you just haven't broke them out yet. But
yeah,
Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino. Hoo-ah.
Oh yeah, that one I feel like got beaten to death pretty soundly back in the 90s. Like that's the thing. You know who taught me this? And this is like kind of, I don't think this is a name Carlos is going to know, but Tony, I always think back to one of my mentors in radio, Rick Ganji. He was the creative director at KMBR when I first started and when Tony first started. And he kind of taught me the ropes with sound. And one thing he told me is by the time we were getting started in the late 90s, he was like, anything from The Simpsons, for example, like is already beaten to death. Like it's already old. If you start putting Simpson stuff on the air now, it's going to sound beaten down. And the same kind of goes for That Scent of a Woman. It got played and quoted so heavily that it almost kind of ran its course. Doesn't mean it's not a great soundbite, but you do have to phase them out sometimes and then bring other ones back. Tony, what are you giggling at up there? I see. What do you got?
Well, I'd love John Joseph just said something in the chat, and it goes to the theme of what I'm always looking for, Los. I'm always looking for, and I know this is what Paulie and I have grooved on for years, is the lesser known bites or the more underground bites that we might bring to the forefront and make more of a spectacle of. Like John Joseph said, Chris Penn in the Wildlife saying it's casual.
That's a good one.
That's a perfect example, dude. The hoo-ah bite is a great freaking bite, but like Paulie said, it was used so much.
It's overdone. No, that makes sense.
Or here's another example, you guys. Like what Tony raises a good point, but then there are other times when we would take a sound bite. Like here's a great example. Jason Kidd. This is one of my favorite sound. Like one of my last great sound bites at KNBR. There was a game where there was some melee on the floor at the end of like a fourth quarter. There were refs, there were timeouts, there was a foul, it was total chaos. And then they were interviewing Jason Kidd after the game, and they're like, Jason, what happened at that last sequence? It looked like everybody didn't know what was happening on the floor. And he paused for a second, and Jason Kidd goes, well, there was confusion. And I love that cut so much. I'm like, dude, so we made that like a famous cut, but by simply just pounding it. So it's also having an ear for like what's going to work, like a reactionary comment like that. There was confusion. You could apply that to anything. Hey, the Niners lost yesterday. There was confusion. You can always kind of underscore and stuff like that. So yeah, they can come from anywhere, Carlos. They really can.
No, you're right.
Look,
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Look, this one I love.
Damn, Jimmy.
And we put that in the system for Jimmy Garoppolo back when Garoppolo became. I was like, Paulie and I were talking about like Jimmy bites, and there was a bunch of Jimmy clips from the Seinfeld episode when the guy talks in the third person about himself. Jimmy likes to work out. Oh, Jimmy's, and he's trying to.
Jimmy, don't touch Jimmy. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
You're right. You guys are right. Like it's more the kind of down low, the kind of side B of a record.
Nice. Yeah.
45, not always side A that everybody plays. So Scarface is another movie that has tons of one-liners and quotes. Obviously, the most famous one is probably Say Hello to My Little Friend, but there's other ones like You Need People Like Me. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
That's one of my favorites right there, Los. See, that's a great cut I could actually use. We could end shows with that. What do you say goodnight to the bad guy? Look at you effing mummy. He calls us all a couple of mummies. Look at you guys. You're a bunch of effing mummies, dude. Mummies, Tony. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when Tony's feeling a little underappreciated about all his skills on the soundboard and the IT, he can throw in who put this thing together? Me.
Yeah, I did. Me. Right. Who put this thing together? I did. Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
There's a ton. There's actually, I was thinking of this one that is not even movie related, but years ago, Jeff Kent, when, obviously in Sports Talk on KNBR, on this, there's all kinds of back and forth. There's a lot of drama. People disagree about this, about that, about how, I'm guilty of it as well. I give tough love. But Jeff Kent said a very, very simple line. Enjoy the game.
Oh, dude.
I got to call timeout. So Los, I got to take you back in time. I was running the press conference when Jeff Kent said those clips, and I said to Tolbert at the time, I said, there's gold in this thing. And so Tom and I sat there and cut it up. And we put those enjoy the game. And then he had like extended versions of that. You people, I don't know what's wrong with you people. So we had a ton of Jeff Kemp bites that we cut up and put, and Ralph and Tom loved those bites. And then, because those guys weren't big fans of playing a lot of sound in their show. So when Tom was excited about that, and those bites just took off, man, to the fact where they're still playing them now. And I don't even know where Jeff Kent is. Does anybody know where Jeff Kent is right now, by the way?
I think
Is
he's in Texas. He like retired down in Texas, I think.
Gotcha.
Him
Okay.
and Tim Lincecum just completely fell off the map.
And by the way, Timmy's birthday, I think Timmy Lincecum's birthday was yesterday. I believe he turned 41 years old. I want to say, you guys help me out on the comment line. But happy birthday to arguably my favorite Giant of all time, Tim Lincecum. He's right up there with Willie McCovey and Jack Clark. He's just, I mean, Tim Lincecum was the face of the changing of the tides in San Francisco. I'll never forget the night they called him up. Pitched on Sunday Night Baseball against Philly. You could see right away. You're like, whoa, this kid's freaking electric. And there was something about him and his whole demeanor. You know, he was an undersized kid. His motion. I mean, Alosti, being a lifelong Giant fan like me, where does Timmy fall like in your just rankings of most beloved Giant of all time?
Man, he's top 5. He was, you know, in all the years and decades of superstars that have come through the Bay Area sports wise, and there's a ton of them, Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
there was something about Timmy, man. He just brought electricity to that stadium. When he pitched, that was go to the game, find a way to get to the game. There's just something about him. He fit into San Francisco so perfectly with his mindset, with the long hair, with the I don't give a shit what you think about me attitude. Timmy was a whole different breed. Miss him.
And I can tell you, and Tony, I know you know this too, but Losty, it was good timing. It was luck and good timing that Murph and I literally met him the day he came up, and we basically knew him through his entire stay in San Francisco. And I can tell both you guys and everybody else, he's one of the coolest superstars I've ever met. Like, there was no ego, no BS. He was just a really, really cool dude. And, you know, I also know that he was always very uncomfortable in the spotlight. That's one of the reasons he's kind of keeping a low profile. He didn't like all the attention. He just wanted to kind of do his thing. And then, Tony, the other thing I loved about Timmy, he was a big game pitcher. Like, you look at his, like, the biggest games in the postseason, he'd be at his very best. He was a money guy, and I love that.
Dude, think about his whole delivery. I mean, that's why they called him the freak, right? Because he was just an anomaly. You don't teach kids how to pitch the way Timmy pitched. He developed that whole thing. And his dad was, you know, and rest in peace, Chris Lincecum. His dad was one of the ones who helped him get to where he was with that delivery. But I loved that guy of that stature, that kind of physical stature, could literally have that kind of career. It just goes. You remember Mike's what's his name? Mike Hampton, who's a pitcher for the Braves, and the Mets, the Rockies. He was like, you know, a little bit, not much taller than me, and I'm like, those are the guys. And he's throwing mid-90s as a lefty. And Lincecum, he'd rear back and fire. And then when he'd throw his off speed, you had no chance, dude. The guy was at times unhittable. And then I also loved how he embraced the let Timmy smoke, and the when we asked him to do the liner, legalize it, don't criticize it. He had a lot of fun, but like you said, Paul, he didn't enjoy the spotlight. He liked to kind of lay in the weeds and just give him the ball, right? And so I think that's why we haven't heard from him. Remember, Bochy said something about how, like, he texts with Lincecum, but he'll never be able to get him on the phone. Tim never answers his phone, like in phone calls, and I guess the Giants have tried to get him down here for celebrations, and he's just like, I'm good.
How do you guys feel about this? I would be adamant. I would be at the front of the line campaigning for this, but how do you guys feel about the potential possibility of the San Francisco Giants retiring his number 55, even though he's most likely not going to get into the Hall of Fame? Like, he was a Hall of Famer, but it was like a very brief run where he had like Hall of Fame kind of caliber numbers. He checked all the boxes: 2 Cy Youngs, 3-time World Series champ, 2 no-hitters. So he achieved all the individual accomplishments, but he just didn't do it over a long enough period to kind of gain access to. But then again, Will Clark had his number retired.
Oh, right.
He's not a Hall of Famer either. So I don't know, like, Tony, just to your point about how reluctant he is to kind of show his face and stand in front of a crowd. And I get it, dude. It's not a very comfortable feeling if you're not at ease with that, standing in front of a full house at Oracle Park while they're just showering love on you. But I do think if they retired his number, he would have to come down for that ceremony. Would you guys be cool with them retiring 55, even if he's not a Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah, the precedent was set with Will Clark, so it's absolutely something that should be done. I guess if you get a statue, you have to be in the Hall of Fame. Would you think? because I'm just thinking the Timmy
Yeah.
statue would be so perfect with that wind up he has.
Oh,
If
the
somebody
hair
could do that
flying.
and the
Yeah.
hair flying out the back, that would
Yeah.
be legendary.
I got to pick over the show for a second, and Los, I might have to call you afterwards, and just maybe I might have you like read something for me that can put me to sleep at night. Your voice is so soothing, dude. Right now, I'm just like, I want Los to get do the Calm app. There's that Calm app. Like you could probably be a voice narrator, like for books on tape or podcasts, because dude, your pipes, by the way you delivered that last sentence, I'm like, oh man, that is so.
You do have good pipes. No, you're not wrong, Tony. Losty does have good pipes. You know what else you could do, dude? Is do like the directions on my like when I'm driving around. I got to get down to like Oracle Park. Yeah, navigation to be Losty. Be like, hey, Paulie, take a right here, man. And oh, you know what? Though, watch out. There's a cop trap right there. Like I want Losty like doing all the reads in my car. That would be cool too.
Funny you say that on a few different things. So about 15 years ago, I got into acting. I got into executive producing. That's how I met, some of the celebrities that I've met, like Judy Norton from the Waltons, Don Most, Happy Days.
Nice.
That was surreal meeting that guy, because I was a huge Happy Days guy growing up, to meet him and talk to him. But I did do a little voiceover, never really amounted to anything. So and years ago I also had an idea about doing a GPS navigation system where the guy would be swearing like, fucking not here, man, dude, what are you doing? Like that would bring some humor into it.
Don't be a douchebag, man. Take a left. Yeah.
Get off your phone. It's right here, you idiot. Yeah.
I think that would make a killing. I really do. Hey, jackass, you went the wrong way. Turn around. You know
what I mean?
That'd be amazing, dude. I would be all for that, man.
By the way, Noemi checking in right now. One of our favorites. She's a PMP VIP. Noemi checking in, going, Losty has a velvety voice, dude. Yeah. Velvety. Nice. That's a great, a great adjective.
I need some detail on that. Velvety.
Yeah.
Yeah, velvet, like George Costanza's velvet. It's so thick and rich, moves against the grain. But dude, Los, I want to ask you a little bit of Niners ball, because they just finished the mini camps, and then we're going to get training camp coming here at the end of July. There were a lot of injuries that I saw come up, and I was like, oh, I know it's only mid-June, but it was a long list of injuries, and I was a little concerning about that. I don't know that. I don't know, it raised an eyebrow for me. And then second of all, there's more chatter about the Niners being interested in Jair Alexander from the Packers. And I wanted to know do you think they should consider him or bring him on board? I'm not sold. I don't know how do you feel?
I'm not a fan of him, because I'm just not a fan of players that have injury histories. The Niners have made so many mistakes over the years, from drafting Kinlaw, knowing that he had a series of injuries.
How about D Ford, dude?
And
same
knee
thing.
problems. And most recently, Ricky Pearsall. He had injuries history at Florida. Football's a tough game. And it doesn't matter how talented you may be. If you can't stay on the field for a long period of time, then you shouldn't be investing in it. So I think their secondary is underrated. I think they got some young players. One of the things that I preach a lot about on Twitter and other forums is, I just think, and it's the whole Bay Area. Like, there's something about not giving the young guys an opportunity that I'm whether it's Kuminga or whether it's the Giants. Ramos didn't get his opportunity until guys got injured. The Giants can't take credit for Elliot Ramos, because they sent him down. He didn't break spring training. They kept going with the vets. They went with Yaz. They went with who's the other center fielder that used to be here? I can't remember his name. Right hand. Oh, Austin Slater. I was like, why are you rolling with that guy? Roll with the young players. So the Niners have some young guys in the secondary that I think just need to be given a chance. And that's the coach's job, not just Shanahan, but the position coaches, is to build these guys up. You drafted them for a reason. And some of them quite high in the draft. So trust your youth. The Bay Area has a history of young people contributing to championships, from 1981 when they drafted Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, and Carlton Williams, and stuck them right in the secondary. And as great as Montana and everybody was on the offense, that defense went from 28th to ranked second in the league. In 2010, we had a great catcher here named Benji Molina. But he was blocking the path for Buster Posie. So what did they do? They didn't keep Posie down in the minors. They traded Molina to make room for the young guys. So this last 5 or 10 years, all three of the Bay Area main teams, they're very veteran oriented, which is fine if they're producing. If they're producing, that's fine. But I'm big into investing into our young players and giving them an opportunity and giving them a chance. So J.R. Alexander, use another door.
I'm with you, brother. Yeah. I don't need him and I don't want him. And if you like you said, I mean, this is a guy who's had so many injury problems. He's played only about half the games that he should have played in the past 4 or 5 seasons. And I just don't need that. I don't need more dead weight and more dead salary. Tony, get your thought out real quick. And then I got something for Los because I want to get into his services here too before we go today. Go ahead.
I like talking about this whole other stuff.
No, me too.
You know, it's sports, pop culture, music. Oh, by the way, before I forget, you know, you guys, as far as music, I thought I knew music pretty well. And I come on here and you guys have like humbled the crap out of me. Wow. Like your knowledge of music is just ridiculous. But I'm more growing up. I've been more of a Motown R&B guy, but I had family. My mom's side of the family is from El Paso, Texas. And when I would go visit El Paso, my cousins, and I had tons of them, were really classic rock people. So they got me back into rock and understanding it. Right. And I don't see you guys bring up the group Rush very much on the channel. What do you guys think of Rush?
Oh, don't even get me going on Rush. Dude, Rush was one of my favorite bands growing up. I'm pretty sure I basically have every Rush album ever released. And Rush was one of the first
2112.
2112, Moving Pictures, Permanent Waves. I'll go all day, bro. I'll go all freaking day. Exit Stage, Left, Grace Under Pressure. I got them all. And I've seen Rush in concert probably, I don't know, between 10 and 15 times. Low Steve. In fact, I don't know if you can see, but way up here, I got my
there we go.
2112 guy. That was a show I saw at the Concord Pavilion a few years ago. No, dude, monster Rush fan. Neil Peart, probably the greatest drummer to ever walk planet Earth. Rest in peace. I feel very fortunate that I got to see. In fact, you know what? I want to do this. As we are getting to know Los D, and again, I want to remind everybody that we are going to be having our learn and lunch sessions with Los. We're only a couple months away now. We're going to start doing those in August. And the dates we talked about are definitely going to work, Los. So we'll reveal those as we get closer. Yeah. But as we set the stage for that and we get to know Los D just as a dude, growing up in the Bay, you said you're a Motown fan. You said you like Rush, classic rock, stuff like that. Give me one show that you saw at the Cow Palace at any point in time. Any band, any tour, any year. Who was it? Who was Los D rocking out to at the Cow Palace?
I don't know if I ever saw. I went to the Cow Palace because I was a big wrestling guy when I was
young.
I went to go see Hulk Hogan wrestle the adorable Adrian Adonis and Randy Savage. And,
even better. That's better than
yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever seen a concert at the Cow Palace, but one of my classic concerts I went to was the Isley Brothers in Oakland.
Ooh. Where in Oakland? Was it Paramount or something?
It was close to Lake Merritt. One of the Paramount. Is it the Paramount?
It might. I think it is the Paramount. Yeah, because that's a classic old theater. That sounds like the venue they would play, right?
The Paramount, and then the Circle. What was the place in San Carlos, Tony?
Circle Star.
Circle Star. Oh God! Every time I drive on 101 and I go by that, and when I don't see Candlestick. And then I drive a little further down and I don't see the Circle Star. I'm like, what are we doing here?
No, totally, Los. There's always going to be a hole in my heart when I drive on 101 and I look to the right and Candlestick's not there. I mean, I still am not at ease or at peace with that. And sometimes on the NFL Network, in fact, the other day they were showing the Jim Harbaugh led, I guess it was the 2011 NFC Championship. Unfortunately, a game we lost to the Giants at home in the rain. And I was watching that game just for a couple of minutes, and the whole Candlestick vibe, dude, I just miss it so much. It was just a huge part. All of us, all three of us, it was a huge part of our growing up, becoming, young men and then adults, and, our parents took us there. It'll never be replaced. Like Levi's still building its own history, but it just doesn't have the soul of Candlestick, and it just doesn't.
Hey, Paulie, if you want to talk about like a perk of living in the North Bay, Paulie, is that you didn't have to see that emptiness every day going into work. Like I would see that every day going into work, and I'm like, this is just brutal. I was just telling my kids the other day, we were driving past it and they kept this Candlestick Park sign up on the exit. So it's still Candlestick Park on the exit. I'm like, they better keep that up forever.
I agree. I agree with you. That's a great call. And I'm so glad they have left it up there. Yeah.
They
Let me
have
ask you,
to.
let me ask you both a question. If you could each go in a time machine and you can go to any sporting event in the history, give me a couple. I know that's
right
tough,
now.
but
I'll
off the
give you
top
one.
of your head, what would be a place an event that you would like to go to live? It could be any sport, doesn't have to be a Bay Area team, any historical sporting event. I got two for you, but let me hear your two.
I'm going to give you two right now, without any hesitation. Number one would be the Dwight Clark game, the catch. I wish I could have been there. That was the day. I mean, that's what it was all leading up to, man. 1981, they go 13-3. They beat the snot out of the Giants in the first round, and now it's here comes Dallas, dude. Here comes freaking Dallas. And that was after we had beaten Dallas 45-14 in the regular season in 81. Dallas called it a fluke, so you know it was going to be a grudge match, and it was. One of the greatest games ever played in 49er history, and that was the day that it all changed, dude. The Niners became a Super Bowl team. Bill Walsh led them to the dynasty, so that's number one. I would have taken that one. And then for me, Low Steve, my other one, a little bit more obscure, but I would have loved to have been at the 1990 Monday Night Football game between the Giants and the Niners. When the Niners won, they won that game 7-3, dude, 7-3. And it was two 10-1 teams playing each other. Still to this day, the biggest Monday Night Football viewing audience of all time. That game has never been topped in terms of the viewership. So the most eyeballs were on that game. It was essentially like a playoff game, and it was a preview because they wound up playing each other again in the NFC Championship. So, Tony, for me, I'm going the catch, and I'm going the Monday night game between the Giants and the Niners, 1990, 7-3. Great topic. I can talk about this all day. But, Tony, what are yours? Give me your two.
Choices.
I mean, I think the catch might be number one for me as well, just because I was only, I was 8 years old when that was going down. And so I was just like diving in headfirst to Niner lore, and I had no idea what was about to become of my entire childhood, that the Niners taking over my childhood. But that catch, that play, the importance of the play, the importance of what it did for the legacy, that's got to be number one. But number two, I think I would take myself to St. Louis and go in 1987, and I think I would go to the game where NLCS, Giants Cardinals, the Giants lost the series. But remember, this is when they had this is when Jeffrey Leonard won the NLCS MVP. It's like I think he's one of the only people that have won the MVP on a losing team. But I would love to be at the game where he did the one flap down home run trot, and that just pissed everybody off in St. Louis. And I remember watching it as a kid. I remember watching it as a kid, and I loved every second of it because he wasn't yapping. He wasn't using his voice. He just did this one flap down, and it just irritated the you-know-what out of every Cardinal fan, every Cardinal player, to the point where, I mean, it goes back to, like, you get Mike Krukow talking about that series, and it gets his blood boiling.
He still hates the Cardinals, period. Yeah, Krukow still hates the guy. And then how about when they all jumped Will Clark? You know what I mean? When he was slid to say he had to fight like three guys by himself, and he held his own pretty well, by the way. Will the Thrill, one of my favorites. All right, Low Steve, give me your two. Give me your two time machine games.
I love Tony that he picked a road game for one, because that just fits, like, especially if I had known a younger Tony, like that just fits his personality to be rebel and be on the road and want the road game instead of the easy home game. So from a local point of view, the catch, obviously, like that's just, that is so, like, maybe the number one sports moment in Bay Area history.
It might be
all said and done. Yeah. And by the way, when they flash to the, I love, like, when they flash to the crowd after a big play or big hit, they need to do a 30 for 30 and find that brother that's in the white pimp suit. Where is that dude? Is that dude still alive? Like I want to know who that is and what he was doing at that time. Was he like selling rock or weed before the game, or
was he selling ladies? We don't know.
Yeah, what was he doing? Yeah. I loved how that dude was dressed. That was all good. Number two, from a local point of view, God, I would have loved to have been there when Will got that hit on Mitch Williams in the 89 championship game.
Yeah,
I have heard from people that have been around the Bay Area as long as we have, that is the loudest they've ever heard a reaction from a crowd. Like, I mean, as it's tense and quiet, and then the pitch comes in and it goes right up the middle to complete euphoria. So probably those two I would have liked to have been there.
Mo, that is a great call, man. I'll never forget. I was in history class at SI, and our teacher said, "We're not doing class today, guys. We're watching Giants Cubs."
Nice.
I'll never forget watching that game and thinking, God, I would kill to be there, man, because that scene and that vibe. And remember when was that same series Will Clark hit the grand slam, I believe, at Wrigley? So
Yes.
yeah. So that whole series was like, you know, Giants winning the series, of course, but very just spirited, and a lot happened in that series, man, especially Mitch Williams, dude. Like, I wish there were closers like Mitch Williams and Rob Dibble and those kind of like just total, you know, maniacs.
The Mad Hungarian, dude. The Mad Hungarian scaring the piss out of everybody. Hey, Tony, real quick, I just sent you some visual enhancements for this conversation. I texted you 2 photos. Can you please get them on the air? And then just to wrap this segment up, because this would really be a nice little bookend, we got the guy Losty was just referring to. If you see the 2 shots I just sent you?
Yeah, but it's going to take me a second. So go ahead and
so here's what we're going to do.
So real quick, I'll give you. So I know this is a topic that we can go on for hours. Maybe another show you guys can pick it back up. Maybe even do a bracket. Everybody bring in their moment that they'd like to go to, and then kind of do the bracket and vote on it. But from a broad point of view, not mentioning local anything, I'm a huge boxing fan. I loved Ali. So I would have loved to have been in Zaire, Africa, live when Ali, took the title back from George Foreman. Because one, I loved Ali, and everybody doubted him, and I would have loved to party in Africa till like 6 a.m. with all the brothers and the Congos and everything. I would have been all for that. And the second one, from a broad point of view, just from a historical point, I'd have loved to have been there for the Miracle on Ice. I would have loved to have seen the U.S. That movie, Miracle, is a very underrated sports movie.
Agree.
I love Kurt Russell's depiction of Herb Brooks and his speech before they went out and played the Russians, because they were overmatched. They were overmatched.
By a million miles. They were a bunch of college kids, man, playing the best team in the world. There's a bunch of kids from Boston taking on the greatest hockey team, who, by the way, Tony, had just annihilated the NHL All-Stars. They did like a tournament. That Soviet team, they destroyed the NHL's best players. And all of a sudden, Herb Brooks comes along with a handful of kids from Boston, a handful of kids from Minnesota, and we beat their ass. No, Low Steve, that's a phenomenal call. I don't know.
That would have been like Angola beating the Dream Team in '92.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Upset of epic proportions. So, that's my.
Dude. And go to like present day. I would have loved to have been in France for Curry's game.
The Olympics.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That was ridiculous. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I kind of didn't prep you for it. I just kind of threw it on the spot. But
Low Steve, you'll like this. I don't think I've said this on this show yet, and you'll get a kick out of this. What probably the most famous sporting event I was ever at, I attended in person, and it just so happened I was in the house this night, was Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, the Bill Buckner game. I was in the house for that. I was there.
You were there for that one?
I was there. Wow. I was there. I was a freshman in college, and there was a kid in my hallway who was from Connecticut, and he was a Mets fan. And everybody else in my hallway was diehard. I went to school in Boston, so it was all Red Sox fans. And this kid, Keith, was like, hey, man, I got a ticket. My dad's got a pair of tickets for Game 6 on Saturday. We're going to take the train down. He's like, you want to come with me? I'm like, dude, hell yeah. So I was at Game 6. We started in the upper deck behind home plate. And I remember they took Roger Clemens out of that game. Big mistake. And then the Mets started to put their comeback together. And we moved down because the Mets they were one strike away. They were one strike away from losing the World Series, and all the fans were leaving the yard and stuff. So I said, "Hey, dude, let's just go watch the end of the game in the box seat." So we went down. We actually had great seats for that whole rally. We were in the lower tier. Yeah, I was just lucky, man. But it was. I have to say that was like the most historical sporting event I ever attended.
That might have been the loudest. I mean, and that I know we have a certain amount of time and everything like that. I want to be respectful, but I mean, that's a whole different question. Is like, and we can do it another time. Is the loudest you've ever heard a stadium that you were?
I know that.
I know mine. I know mine was when Steve Young did that run against the Vikings late in the game.
Nice.
That crowd just like, Oh,
Yeah.
and it just built, like Will Clark's was like quiet to extreme loudness decibels. That one build and build and build, and it was ridiculously loud.
Hey,
although we believe might give it a run too. That was loud.
Oh, we believe it was incredible. But I'll tell you right now, and we can go into it at a later date in more detail. But Eric Davis's interception of Troy Aikman in the NFC Championship in '94 for the pick six is the loudest crowd I've ever been a part of or heard in my life. And we can talk about it later. But that when you asked that question, I said, "Oh, it's a no-brainer for me." And then also, secondly, I've been to a one boxing match, and it was with Tolbert in Vegas, and it was Felix Trinidad against Vargas, and it was one of the greatest sporting events of my life. I've never experienced anything like it. We did Radio Row all week. This is when Don King and Bob Arum were still kind of like big heavyweights, in the industry, and they still had this is when boxing was still really big. Now it's not. It's kind of a bummer, but it was. I used to tell people, if you can ever get to a boxing match, especially in Vegas, do it. Doesn't matter who's on the bill, but do it if you can get to a major heavyweight or middleweight bout.
1000% agree. If you've never been to a boxing event, I mean, it is a different kind of atmosphere and vibe. I was at Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton, and you had all the dudes from England, and they were chanting and the parties before the fight were off the charts, by the way, the pool parties with those guys. But live boxing is absolutely gold.
All right, Tony, can you get those two shots up? Is that possible? All right, so I want to show these, and then I want Los D to speak about his services, and then we're going to then we'll let Los D talk about his services. Then we're going to announce the final Metallica winner, and then we will wrap the show for today. Go ahead, send everybody into their lunch break. But Tony, show the two shots. Just we're talking Candlestick. I mean, come on, man. Behold. Man, you know what I mean? And look at the city right there. So, Los D, I had season tickets to the Niners right above the scoreboard. I was in section 54. And a lot of times at halftime, I would go down into the concourse and I would be looking out over the city skyline. You can see it right up there to the north. And I miss that. I miss Candlestick. I miss the parking lots. I miss the idea that everything. You could be in the city. You don't even have to get on 101. You could just take 3rd Street all the way out to Candlestick. And I just wanted to show it off, man. There she is, man.
Were you in the upper box or upper reserve, Paulie?
I was in upper reserve. I was like 15 rows up. I was almost near the top. But it was I love the perspective. Tony sat with me a bunch of times up there. We had a great section, man.
Upper box is a very underrated seat at Candlestick for baseball games. Just phenomenal. The looking down on it. Yep. I always wondered why, growing up, that they never sold those seats in right field. The reserve seats, not the upper deck, but those seats that come out for football.
The fold outs. Yeah.
They never sold those for baseball. They were just empty all the time. And I thought those would always be great seats because you're like right on top of the right field.
It's so funny, dude. I used to say the same thing to my dad. I'd be like, Dad, why don't they sell those seats? Look how great they are. They're sitting right there. And then Tony, show him the other one. Let's wrap it with this show and tell moment. Carlos, you want them? You got them.
Well, stand by. Hang on. Let me load this up because it is absolute gold. It just takes a second to load up, but here is the man that Carlos was talking about.
There he is.
I mean everything go. Look at the Jerry Garcia guy right over his left shoulder with the shades on and the beard. You got, you see him? He's right there. You got the lady with the ski hat. It's mayhem. Tony, go ahead, brother.
Well, no, the guy with the headphones right next to him with the old Niner hat. And look at the old beanies too, man. I love the old beanies. But this guy, I feel like he had a highball in his hand at some point, like in one of the shots that they show in the highlights of this game. But I mean, first of all, it's just mayhem.
I have a lot of fedoras in the closet, guys, so I'm partial to the fedora look. But I mean, the reason why I always am captivated by this guy is just, now when we go and when we see games, like a lot of people have jerseys, and look at this crowd. There's nobody wearing a jersey because I don't know what year or what decade they really started selling jerseys, but look at everybody's wardrobe. And I love watching these old clips because, just like people just have regular jackets and coats, but this guy, he's just dressed like he's like on
Yeah,
you know on
Fillmore. He's like Fillmore Slim, man.
yeah,
Right
he's on Broadway Street by one of those.
Yeah, shout out the Condor. Shout out Big Al's, dude. We're going to Big Al. And then, by the way, shout out my buddy Winks. Great call, Winks. As always, you're on point, dude. The girl right to the left of Fillmore Slim. What do you give me for that girl in the Niner beanie and the blonde hair and Chrissy Snow, Suzanne Summers on Three's Company? Not bad. Not bad. The only thing missing is Don Knotts, dude. Where's Mr. Roper and Mr. Furley holding it down? That's the kind of crowd they would have fit right into. And Helen, dude. I could see Helen up there somewhere as well. She was a big poncho gal, too, Tony, like you.
Yep.
She would wear the smock, dude. She would just come rolling in wearing the smock, giving Stanley Roper a ration of S, always on Stanley's case. And you know what it was? She was starved for affection, and Stanley wouldn't give it to her. He was always withholding it. And then every now and again, they'd finally get together, and the fireworks would go up. Okay.
If you look all the way to the right, 2 or 3 rows up, Jeff Kent was at that game.
It was either Jeff Kent or the Marlboro Man. I
enjoyed the game.
100%. Good eye, dude. Good freaking eye. We got Garcia. We got Suzanne Summers. I got Jeff Kent. I got Fillmore Slim. That's the candlestick I love, and that's the candlestick that I miss. All right, Tony, thank you for the visual aids. Well
I might
done,
have to do that as my background screensaver.
It's a good one. I'll send it to you after the show, man.
Thank you for that.
Now that we have you, let's wrap it like this, dude. I want it to be Tony's been scrolling your info the entire time. Well done, T. But while we have you, dude, it would just be great for you to tell the audience in your own words, in your own language, like the kind of services we've talked about it over the months, but it's a great chance for you to just speak to the people directly, Los.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm a one-stop shop there's certain products that I think are more popular right now, and quite frankly, more practical right now because of where interest rates are. So that's why, like the DSCR that's going on the bottom right now is a great program. I don't want to get too much into the specifics. That's what, you guys give me a call. One thing I don't like about today's real estate agents and loan agents is when they start having these conversations with people, and 5-10 minutes into the conversation, they kind of see it's going in a direction where they're not ready to go right now. They lose interest because they know that a commission's not coming anytime soon. And I just never believed in that theory. I believed in, like you said, building relationships and listening to people. So, people sometimes are not ready to go right now for whatever reason. Credit score, not enough equity, not enough income. As you guys know, when you don't have a pay stub and a W-2, it's a little bit different, verifying your income to qualify. So all I can say to kind of sum it up is there are a lot of loan products out there that the general public is not aware of, that don't know, or they think they know. And I don't want to get too much into reverse mortgages, but that is a loan product that is so misunderstood. Listen, we don't get up and watch the TV or change the channel on the TV anymore. We have this evolution thing called remote controls, and that loan program has changed a lot over the years. The government has made it very, very safe for seniors to do. And I don't want to get too much into specifics, but trust me. So all I can say in general is there's a lot of misunderstandings and knowledge. And that's what I am here for, really, not only for the community, but in general, is to just educate people. I love passing on information and then letting them decide what they need to do and when they need to do it. So ton of loan products out there, guys. There's not too many things I cannot do, but I won't know unless you give me a call or shoot me an email. And it might not be for yourself. Not everybody out here has a house. So, I live on word of mouth. I'm not a Wells Fargo agent that sits in a bank and has 20 people see me every day. So it's important to get the information out and then go from there.
Thank you, Carlos, very much. And that was very well said. And you guys know Low State. That's the thing. At this point, we have become such a great community and such a great collection of friends. I like to view us all as a collection of friends. And obviously, Low State is a guy you can trust. And one of the things I've always kind of sang your praises on, Carlos, is that you're not going to strong arm anybody into something just for the sake of you landing business. Like when you look at the situation, it's every individual comes with a different set of circumstances. And I know for a fact, Tony, Carlos has told some of his potential clients, like, hey, listen, you guys, this is probably not the best time for you to be doing this right now. And that, to me, there's a huge value in that. And that's why we talk about the trust and the fact that you can trust Carlos. But as he said, without taking too much more time on this show today, just reach out to Carlos, give him a call, have a conversation, a reasonable, rational conversation about where you are or your business, your family, your home, whatever the circumstances are. And then just ask Carlos for his advice, and he'll tell you what he thinks is in your best interest at that time. So, Los D, brother, listen, we appreciate you giving us time today. It's always a pleasure to have you on where we can just kick it around like this, kind of drop all the pretense and just have some fun. Carlos, or Tony, rather, I'm sorry, I'll let you get the last word on Los D, and then we'll say goodbye, and then we'll do the Metallica thing, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Go ahead, T.
I just want to say that the proof's in the pudding, man. I mean, you see what type of guy Carlos is, and you see, like, it's all about the relationship. About that, ever since the moment I met him, he was all about building a relationship. It wasn't about a transaction. It wasn't about even the show. It was about getting to know each other. And I feel like that's the huge asset. And I feel like you said earlier, Paulie, of Los saying, maybe now is not the right time, but that if someone tells me maybe now is not the right time and they're in business, that tells me that when it is the right time, that's who I'm going to, because that's already a level of trust that has been built. And so Los and I talk all the time off the air too about just, the relationships. It's all about the relationships, man. And so Los, like, you even taking the time out of, this is your work day too, that you're taking the time out of your work day to come on and join us, man. So it's like, this
is so much more enjoyable. Let me tell you, so much more pleasure. And I'll just leave it like this. And I've told you guys privately, and I'll just say it in front of the chat. There's a lot of bullshit right now going on in the world. And there's a lot of other YouTube channels that have, drama and a lot of back and forth on different topics.
Right.
It is so refreshing to have a channel and have a community like this, and that's so, positive and genuine. Everybody cares about each other. Everybody pulls for each other. So you guys have built something that is really, really unique and really different. And hey, I'm just honored to be a business partner with you and a friend with you guys. So much love to you, continued growth, and always appreciate your input and help.
And Paul, on that note, Paulie, real quick, for those that listen to the audio only versions of these, I want to let people know, just a reminder, 925-250-4894. 925-250-4894 is the number for Los, or Carlos at myflexnow.com that's the way you can reach Los via email. So just want to make sure that we do get a lot of people that listen audio only, and I want to just respect those people too, because Paulie and I have definitely adapted to the visual realm of this venture, but we're audio guys from the heyday, and so just want to respect that as well. So Los, man, thank you, brother.
Thanks, Carlos. We'll talk to you soon. Much love, my brother. Enjoy Devers tonight, man. Go Giants. We'll be talking soon, bro.
2 for 4, homer, 2 RBIs tonight.
Ooh, okay, bring it.
Let's do it. Thank you, boys.
See you soon, Carlos. Carlos De La Fuente, everybody. And for our final act, we pull the final rabbit out of the hat. Tony, the floor is yours. We have that last pair of Metallica tickets to give away. The moment is now. The time is now. And I'm going to let you reveal our final winner as you dip into your bag of goodness and all kind of unmentionables. Go ahead and produce that last winner, brother.
I don't know. That's my introductory sound bite for a sound effect for the winner.
I endorse it. I endorse it. By the way, now that you did that, I got to add something to it. How about like when they're sitting there, they got all those scientists, they're wearing like headphones and stuff. They're like, hey, take it up an octave, drop it an octave. They're like talking to the spaceship, and all of a sudden they start jamming. It's like, they get into like a jam. Can you get me a piece of that jam session for future reference?
The lights go with it too. Remember, the lights go with the sound.
They blow the glass out. The frequencies are so strong. Bam! They're breaking glass. Anyway, I got carried away. Tony, go ahead. Who's the winner of Metallica? My bad.
I'm very excited for this winner. Not to say that it's not great to have dudes win, but it's great to have one of the PMP, one of the broads of PMP, of the PMP Army. Come on down, Noemi. Noemi won. She was the first one to email us last night and win our last pair of, and it's so funny. Guess it was right after Noemi. They must have been in like dueling phones or computers in the house last night, because Ray was right after Noemi in the list of emails. So congrats.
Okay, yeah, no, quite, dude. Congratulations, Noemi, a million times over. And dude, how great would it be if like her and her husband Ray were both sending in answers, and then how great would it be if Noemi just came with somebody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She like didn't even bring Ray. She's like, no, I didn't want to bring Ray to this one. Anyway, congrats, Noemi. You're well worthy of it. We love you so much. And by the way, if you could bring me another bottle of that hot sauce down to Levi's, because I want one with the new label. That label is awesome. It really is. It's very attractive. So congratulations, Noemi. And the correct answer was Master of Puppets, by the way. We were reading the lyrics of Master of Puppets last night. One of my favorites. I'd be pretty strong bet that you're going to hear that on either Friday or Saturday. But remember, if you're going to both gigs, one of the things this tour is noteworthy for is the fact that they're doing completely different set lists every night. So whatever you hear Friday, you will not hear on Sunday and vice versa. So they're going to be totally unique experiences. Noemi, congratulations. Yes, bring a bottle. Okay, we'll slap it on everything you got down there. We'll bring the chips. We'll do a little thing. And Tony and I are going to go live on Friday. We'll do a little VIP broadcast for those of you who can't make it. We'll give you as much of a taste of the scene as we can. And Tony, I think that is all we're going to do today. So, okay.
I just want to pass on some information that I will be in touch directly via email with directions on how to obtain your tickets for Sunday's show, and also a way for us to try and meet up before the show. That will all be happening later on this week for Sunday's show. But I believe the first band goes on at 6:00 is the first thing you should be aware of. First band is at 6:00, and then let the night take you away. And we'll also know, because we'll be there, Paulie and I will be there Friday, and we'll be taking notes about, who comes on when and the timing of it all. So there's that. And then also, congrats, Noemi. So psyched for you. And hey, hopefully you're taking Ray, but if you're not taking Ray, I hope you enjoy. Have a great time with whoever you bring.
I'd be willing to bet she's going to bring Ray. They're both a very sweet couple. Thank you guys for participating. Yo, Nathan, welcome aboard, my brother. Any connections at the Hyatt Regency, let me know. I'm looking for a discount. I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. Nathan, great to have you on board, and thanks for being a VIP. Look forward to seeing more of your face. And we'll do our hey, Corinne, what's up? I didn't get a chance to say hello to you today. Thanks for stopping by. Tomorrow night, we are, by the way, see, I started a controversy now. Anthony Merkovich going, yeah, sorry, Ray, Noemi's taking me to the show on Sunday. Dude, I love it. I'm just playing. I'm not trying to create some kind of Jeff Goldblum situation here. More on that tomorrow night. Wednesday night Flight will be in its normal place. Hey, Giant fans, enjoy the debut of Devers tonight. We're in number 16. Great number. As long as Angel Pagan says it's cool with me. Yep. And then game 6.
Well, hold on. As long as Terry Kennedy says it's okay, then it's okay for Devers to do it. Former catcher number 16, Terry Kennedy. I was trying to think of other 16s. I can't think of any other 16s beside Terry Kennedy and Angel Pagan, but I know there's been a few. So
okay, in the Giants family tree. But anyway, Tony, give me Professor Diamond David Lee Roth to dismiss our wonderful students.
Class dismissed.
Oh yeah. And by the way, Creative Tony, you have a specific homework assignment from me to you. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I don't want to hear any more of your bull S. I want you to find time either today, tonight, tomorrow morning. I don't care when you got to do it. I don't care, but you're going to have to find time to watch Becoming Led Zeppelin on Netflix so you and I can have a reasonable discussion about a great documentary about a great band. That's just from me to you.
As my grandmother used to say to me, ye of little faith. I began it last night. I started it last night. So I'm only about like 20 minutes in, but I figure I will finish it before the weekend. That's for damn sure. Because I just started watching it late last night. And it's like, oh my God, this is going to suck me in, but I need to go to bed. So yes, you bet your ass I'll be watching it. It looks incredible. From what I've seen already, it looks incredible.
I just got to tell you this, Tony, look forward to this part. They do it like when they're really making one of their earliest debuts in front of an audience, dude. They roll their gear out and they're playing How Many More Times off the first album. Dome, down, ba dome, down, boom. But heavy as hell, dude. Heavy as hell. The audience is sitting there like, they're like shell shocked, dude. It's great. You see the looks on there. Some of the people, they're like holding their ears. Little kids are crying. It's freaking amazing. So that's like, imagine that hitting you in the face for the first time. There had never been music like that. Maybe Black Sabbath too, but they were like more of an underground thing at that time. All right. Anyway, you guys have a great afternoon. Go Devers. Go Giants. Go Edmonton Oilers, Pib Ford, me and you, bro. It's me and you at this point, taking on everybody. We'll see all of y'all tomorrow night on the Night Flight. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody in the PMP community. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Peace. Enjoy your Tuesday.
Tomorrow night. Peace, y'all.